Are you ready to explore the unseen? From the depths of the soul to the vastness of the cosmos, we're diving into the extraordinary. Mediumship, astrology, spirituality, the paranormal, and more. Welcome to your bridge to the other side. Now join us as we unravel the mysteries of the universe, one question at a time, with your host, Kat Walker.
Hello, beautiful spirits. I'm Kat Walker, psychic medium, mystic, and bridge builder between worlds. Welcome to your bridge to the other side. We're going to explore the seen and the unseen and everything in between, and maybe get a little woo-woo as well. Today we are stepping back into the Akashic Records. This is part 2 with Bettina Norman. Bettina is a master Akashic Record reader. She's also a mystic, a teacher, a visionary. She's dedicated to guiding others through the shadows into their own light. And as a certified Akashic Record master teacher, she has offered and given hundreds of readings. And she's touched lives locally and even across international borders. This is part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, you might want to touch on that too, but you'll be able to understand this probably without even having seen part 1. So welcome, Bettina.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back. It was fun.
It has been fun so far. I'm already learning quite a lot because I am not an Akashic Record reader. It's been a little mystifying for me. So you've been spending time demystifying it for me.
Sure.
It's been very helpful.
Thank you.
So let's dive into last time we talked about an introduction to the Akashic Records and the foundations. Let's dive into the practice and process as you go through it with people. Can you walk us through what a typical Akashic Records reading looks like from your perspective as a practitioner?
Sure. So when I took a class to become a practitioner, one thing I was taught, and we can never forget, is first of all, you get your permission from your clients. So you will never, ever do a reading for somebody you don't have permission to access their records, because you really get a glimpse into their soul. So when I do a reading for somebody, I always ask. I mean, even if they sit down by my table, I mean, I can probably imply that, they're wanting a reading, but you still ask for permission. So that's what I do first. I ask for permission. I said, is it okay if I open up your records? And then what I do is I read a short prayer or invocation that kind of closes like the space or the energetic space where, I'm enclosing myself and the client in a safe bubble, and I'm calling in spirit, and spirit knows that I'm ready. And so after I read the invocation or the prayer, that's when we get started with the reading.
Okay. So what happens energetically and spiritually to you and to the client when you open the record?
Usually, a lot of times I don't even remember the reading after. I usually tune into the client and into their spirit guides or angels, whoever wants to show up for them. And it's more of a channeling. So I really give them a lot of information. It's just, I'm really focused on that client and what's coming in. So that's what's happening to me. The client usually is extremely happy and joyful to receive the information. And it's really a very intimate container, so to speak, when a client sits with me. So that's, yeah.
Okay. So you have a specific prayer or way of getting into the records with your client?
Yes.
Does it differ from person to person?
So no, it's the same one each time. When I was certified under Linda Howe. And it's her intellectual property. She wrote this prayer invocation. It was given to her by her higher guides. I don't know when it was, maybe 20 years ago. And this is what she teaches. It's the same prayer or invocation every single time with each person. So no, it's always the same.
Does it feel different though with each person?
Yes.
Dealing with individual souls?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's very individualized. So
That's
depending on who sits in front of me.
um, when you're doing the Akashic records, does it depend on which clairs are strong for you, how you get the information?
So each person is different, or each reader is different. When I took a class, I was taught to pay attention to every single clair, because the information can come in through every clair, not just one. But my strong one is my third eye. So I see a lot of things in my third eye. Um, a lot of times, also, I just know things, or I feel things in the pit of my stomach. Um, I also feel things. I'm very clear sentient, but it's usually my third eye.
Okay. Okay. Now, when we talk about seeing things from with your third eye, I know I see things with my third eye, but this might be a good time to explain to people what it means to see with your third eye.
Uh-huh.
Can you?
Sure. I've been asked that before. So when people ask me, well, how do you see it with your third eye? What does it look like? A lot of times I explain it in, just remember, the day you got married, the day you had your first child. It's kind of like a memory. So you see this memory in your head or in your third eye, and it's the same thing with receiving messages from spirit with your third eye. You just see those things with your
Well,
third eye.
and it's good. That's a good way of explaining it because I know I've had
Uh-huh.
difficulty explaining to people
Yeah,
when I
yeah,
do readings, and I'm seeing this or that. It's not
yeah.
generally with my eyeball, folks.
No, no, no.
The
Yes,
third eye is not like an eyeball. Very rarely
exactly.
do I see something with my eyeball occasionally, but not too often. So it's almost like a mind's eye for you.
Mhm.
It's
Yes,
maybe
yes. It's
a
like,
little movie
yeah,
playing in
just
your head.
yeah, just think about having a memory of something.
Okay. Um, so how do you discern between your own intuition and your imagination and the true Akashic information?
Okay, that's a very good question. Well, first of all, the prayer that was given to us, or it was given to Linda Howe by the higher guides, higher spirits, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
There is a built-in safety switch, whatever you want to call it, that says if you read this prayer that was given to you guys, you will always know you're definitely in the Akashic Records. So you never have to question it. So that's why I really stay with this prayer. I could write my own, but when I was taking the class, I was assured that this prayer came from a higher source. And by reading it, I will always know, or I can always be sure to be in the Akashic Records. So that's the first one. The second one, a lot of times people ask me, well, how do you know when you receive a message that the answer is, for me, or it's not something that you make up? And the question or the answer to that is if they ask a question, or if I ask a question and the answer comes to me before I can even finish my question, it's super fast, then I know it's from spirit. Then I know it's not something that came from me. Or if the answer is something really outrageous or really out there that I would never say or I would never be able to come up with, then it's from spirit.
I get that.
you know?
Well, I was doing a reading for a lady yesterday. She was asking for a friend how that person's husband might come through, and it came through as garbage. And I've never gotten garbage before, and I got a text today saying that the woman understood what the garbage reference was about, and her
See,
husband
yeah.
threw her with garbage. It's nothing that I would have come up with in my imagination. Spirit's funny that way.
Exactly. That's how it goes. It doesn't have to make sense to you as the reader, but it a lot of times it makes sense to the client, and
Right.
that's what it matters.
Yeah, a lot of times it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
What would you speak about getting the information through guides and angels, etc. Um, do you also get information from ancestors of that
Oh
person?
yeah. Yes, yes.
Um, and what does it vary so widely that you couldn't pinpoint it, or like at this time right now, do you see more guides coming through, or more angels coming through, or more ancestors coming through? How is that working for you?
So I can definitely tell whether or not it's an angel, a spirit guide, ancestors. I definitely know. They usually let me know. So when I access someone's records, what I meet or who I meet is either ascended masters, teachers, or loved ones. Okay, so there's three group of beings. Masters are like higher beings that have never incarnated into a human lifetime. And then teachers have been incarnated into a human lifetime, could be like Jesus, Buddha, Gandhi,
Sure.
all of those great teachers. And then loved ones could be your loved ones that are passed over. So it's usually one of those or two of those or three of those, whoever wants to show up. So yes, I do really.
How about angels?
Could also be, yes. When I access my own records, I used to talk to Metatron. He kind of went into the background a little bit over time. I now channel what's called a Seraphim, which is like the highest to source. So yeah, things changed based on your need, because your life keeps going and you keep evolving. And so at any time when you open your records, you meet different beings, depending on who wants to step forward.
I guess part of my question was that during this period of time, because it does feel like a period of transition for most people, and the world seems to be going through a transition, have you seen a shift in who comes forward? Like you see more guides, more angels, or is it just still varied?
It does vary. I really believe I've noticed that when I do a reading for somebody who's a little bit more evolved, somebody like you, for example, that I have like higher beings coming in because those are messages you would understand. Okay. So if I have somebody in front of me who has never had a reading, they usually get a message from their spirit guides. And that's because the level they're on, and also not to scare them away. I think if somebody is completely new to this and they're getting a reading and they would have like a higher being coming in and giving them a profound message, they may not even know what to do with it at that point. And so I do notice that the higher you are evolved, the higher beings are coming in, stepping in for you and giving you higher messages or higher vibrational messages because you know what to do with it.
Well, let me ask you this, because we always hear the expression, so-and-so is an old soul.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that difference in the people when you're reading them?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And I see that the difference is that when an old soul is sitting in front of me, they usually know. When I say, you're an old soul, right? They're like, yeah, I kind of had a feeling. But also their comprehension of messages is different. So when I say something that their spirit guides tells them, and they're like, yeah, I get it. I get it. And sometimes people who are not, who are really new to this, they're like, can you explain this a little further? Which none of it is bad or it's just like the different levels people are on. So an old soul usually knows or understands the messages and they're like, I know. I know what they mean,
Okay, so if somebody came forward to you, though, that was a newer soul without you even speaking to them yet, if you had just accessed the records, would there, like, it sounds strange, but would their records be thinner? Would they?
That's a good question. So here's my take on a lot of things, and I'm going to try to make this short. A newer soul still had plenty of lifetimes. My experience is that I've never had anybody sitting in front of me who didn't have multiple lifetimes already. And I think what I'm getting is from experience is that a new soul usually does not have a full lifetime right away. A new soul is usually, or what I'm experiencing is either a miscarriage, somebody or a soul that was not ready to step into a full lifetime, who just wanted to get their feet wet, usually a miscarriage or maybe even abortion, okay? Or maybe a baby that was born and then passed away, sudden infant death syndrome. So those are the very new souls who made a contract with those mothers or the vessels and to say, you know what, I help you experience the pain of losing a child, but you also help me experience to get a feeling of what it's like to be in a human body. So everybody who sits in front of me has had multiple lifetimes. They may be a younger soul, but I've never had a brand new soul. And I don't think that I ever would, because I think those are the children that don't make it to adulthood, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does to me.
Yes. See, yeah. So you understand. So
Do you ever have, because there's a lot of talk in the metaphysical community about people who come here who are coming from different planetary systems or whatever. Do you ever have somebody who's not incarnated in a human body before, but has incarnated other places?
Oh, absolutely. That's what we call a starseed. So a starseed, that soul was incarnated in a different star system, but reincarnated in a human lifetime. So yes, that happens quite often. Yes.
I mean, so you actually see somebody who's actually never had in this.
Yeah, like a human lifetime, but it has been in different bodies or existences.
Right,
Yes,
right, but not in the human.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so if you're looking at their past lives, do you actually see them as something else before?
I can, and I have. A lot of times, I usually figure out what their origin is as far as like a soul, whether it's Arcturian or there's so many different like species out there, but I can usually give them a good idea of where their soul originates. Yes.
That's very interesting to me. To think about people coming who have not had other lifetimes on this planet. So
Yeah.
you're getting a whole new feel for
Correct. Yes.
soul.
Yeah.
And a whole new
it's a whole new animal, so to speak.
yes, it's almost like looking at a rainbow or something. It's wild.
That's true.
Well, is there anything else about the process that you think would be interesting or informative for people to understand?
So sometimes people ask, I don't get that a lot, but sometimes people ask me, well, if you access my records or if you open up this energetic channel, is there anything that can come through that's negative? Or is there anything that can attach to myself or to me? And I'm like, and I always assure them that this prayer that was given to Linda Howe that she teaches us has a safety mechanism built in. So when I access someone's records, it is guaranteed that it's a safe space for us. And so nobody has to fear that, something negative is coming through or in or whatever.
Okay. Well, I would assume that most of us, as we've evolved, have had some negative things that we've done and grown through.
Yeah.
So, we weren't all Queen Antoinette or Cleopatra.
No,
we could have been barbarian
true.
at some point.
A murderer, serial killer, we all had.
I think we've probably all done a little bit, those of us who've been around.
Yeah.
But maybe this is a pretty good stopping point for us. And maybe the next episode would be a good time for you to do a reading on me. And then the next episode, we can conclude about how that worked and how it would work with other people. Does that make sense?
Okay, absolutely, sure.
That was a pretty incredible look at the records. I just learned a lot. It's like seeing kind of the divine Wi-Fi and how it works. So next episode, we'll look at, which might be scary, guys. I'm going to be vulnerable at who I am. And I'll let spirit let me be as vulnerable as I need to be. I mean, I'm comfortable with who I am now. So whatever comes through, comes through. So if you want to see about me, then tune in next time. Also, if you want to know how to get in to see Bettina or find out more about what she does or when she's doing trainings, her information will be provided as well as mine. Just remember that soul always has her back. Soul is never silent. Soul is always open to spirit, and spirit's always contacting us.
Correct. Yes.
So thank you, Bettina.
Thank you. I'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye, everybody.